Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Chloe. I am a dynamic eating psychology coach and a therapeutic nutrition counselor. I work primarily with girls in eating disorder recovery. I help them go from quasi-recovery to all the way fully recovered.
Amen.
Yeah. I work with a lot of girls who are at that age of wanting to get pregnant, getting in relationships, wanting to build families. I work with a lot of girls who are coming from a vegan background or a very strict dieting background. Actually, they're dealing with eating disorders. So that is the work that I do. And today I brought on Dani, who is a therapeutic nutritionist.
Hi.
And she works in perinatal nutrition. Now, me and Dani did a sort of welcome introductory video to sort of our thoughts, I would say.
Preconception care, relation to eating disorders and eating vegan.
Yeah, it's a really important topic, and so we said that we're going to do a series. So here we are doing video number 2, and I hope that you guys get a lot out of this one. We are going to be talking about cholesterol today, and Dani has a lot of experience working with women who are struggling with eating enough food, enough of the right foods, and their cholesterol levels are super off, which is we're getting into is really going to create a lot of issues.
Yep.
So first off, Dani, welcome, and thank you for being here.
Thank you.
This was planned and yet impromptu because I thought we were meeting tomorrow, but I just got done working the farmer's market, and it worked out perfectly. So let's dive into this, Dani.
Cool.
I first want to start off by asking you, why is cholesterol important? Why should we be eating cholesterol? Yes, you heard that right.
Yeah.
Why should we be eating cholesterol? Especially because we hear cholesterol it's the devil, right?
Yep.
We're not supposed to have eggs because there's too much cholesterol in it.
So many heart attacks.
Yeah, so
high
many
blood
people
pressure.
are worried. So I want you to just sort of go ahead and start talking about what cholesterol does in the body and why it's important.
Yeah. So cholesterol is a fat. Your brain is actually mostly cholesterol, and it's found in every single cell in your body. I would say pretty important just by nature of what it is. I believe it's around the 80s. Numerous sort of faulty studies came out that said high cholesterol was associated with heart disease and whatnot, and people went absolutely nuts. And you see after this, butter, gone. Red meat, gone. Egg, out. I still find today when women are healthy that they've cut out red meat, butter, which would mean ghee too, so sad, and then egg yolks. And these are some of the most important nutrient-dense foods when it comes to fertility and preconception care and hormone production, whether you want to make a baby or not. So much of my experience is with women looking in the 1 to 2 year window before they want to make a baby. We call this preconception time. In essentially the year of their pregnancy, your cholesterol, you don't even follow it then. And then the 2 years that you're taking care, nursing, getting your body back, and raising your infant, your baby. This is when cholesterol is probably of the utmost importance, honestly, because of what's going on with hormone production at that time. You're going to be making breast milk that needs to contain all of those healthy fatty acids for brain health.
Pregnancy depletes your body too.
Extremely depleting.
Of a lot of nutrients. And so you need to make sure you have a good healthy store of things.
Yes.
I want to go back to this whole, we were told in the 80s that cholesterol was bad. And what's funny is that, so we took out all this stuff. We added in the margarine. We added in the Velveeta. We added in like all these things.
The white flour because we're starving.
Yeah, we started taking out the meat, and we started doing more veggie-based meals. We started doing turkey, like lean turkey instead of red meat and things like that. Dani, what has happened with our health as like the overall general population has been told, cut back on fats, cut back on cholesterol. Yeah. Have we gotten healthier since the 80s?
Well,
this
heart
might be
disease
rhetorical because I think it's very obvious that we're really struggling with our health in so many ways, despite the fact that New York Times put on this big sort of article being like, butter is evil. Yeah. And then 10 years later did one saying butter is back.
Now it's back. Now it's the best thing that we needed, and it is. Well, we can look at heart disease, and it's nothing but gone up, especially as like the number one killer of women. Obviously, not our age, but we are looking at preventing disease now. But then what we're mostly honing in on is looking at hormone production, having healthy, regular ovulation and menstruation, fertility, conceiving when you and him and her both decide they're ready and they want to, carrying a baby, not having a miscarriage like so many women are having. What about postpartum depression and anxiety? These are all directly related to your cholesterol levels. And in my clinical experience in working with this range of women, always, 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 we have really low cholesterol levels, which are scary. They're very scary, the relationship between cholesterol and neurotransmitters. We're talking brain health here. We're talking not having depression, not having anxiety, not having OCD thoughts, not hearing other voices called schizophrenia. I mean, there's so much related to having low cholesterol. And then sort of outside of our exact conversation, but what's happened is our kids are born and grow up while their brains are developing without enough cholesterol, which is critical for speech development, motor development skills, all of that. And then we send them off to school.
And it's really scary. I've worked with multiple women who are pregnant, and they get these really alarming things from their doctors being like, there's some neurocognitive things wrong with the fetus. There's one of them, you know, they were really worried that the kid was going to have dwarfism. Like, there was so many things that were off with these children, and that is, I mean, this is serious. And I think it really struck me as like, oh my gosh, wait, this isn't even about like me having the cholesterol levels I need. This is about like my kid will have severe consequences from me not feeding myself the right amount of foods day in and day out, and having low levels of cholesterol in my body, that just being one of the things that affects the health of your child. But it's really intense to see a mother who's 6 months pregnant and be like, I don't know if my child's going to be able to perform normally.
Yeah, and if we want to move into looking at what is normal cholesterol levels and what is healthy, because there's so much distortion on the numbers. Again, the numbers were all changed. The numbers are different now than they were back in the 50s and the 60s, and people are only sicker now. You need to have your cholesterol.
Oh, so the numbers have changed, we're saying it should be lower.
Yes, your doctors are saying it should be lower.
They're trying to put, my grandma is 86 years old, and she's ridiculously healthy. She's French. She's eaten tons of butter her whole life. And she went to the doctor like a year ago and was told that she had high cholesterol. And so she started being put on all of these statins and things. And her health has, like, in the past year, I mean, she's still super healthy, but, like, she's been eating margarine now. She's been taking her statins and doing all these things. I'm not a doctor, and I'm not saying that this is, like, you know, I'm challenging the doctor here on this, but, ooh, I don't know. Like, it was really hard for me to see her, like, go from eating butter to margarine. Because her cholesterol levels were too high. But I was like, but you have no, like, absolutely no problems.
None.
No problems. And yet they wanted her to lower her cholesterol.
No, you guys, I can't tell you. I've seen the exact same pattern numerous times that couples will come to me. They've been struggling with infertility for quite a long time, which is no fun. I hope no one and none of you have to go through that are watching this. And their husband was told that he had high cholesterol. So together they both take out butter, eggs, and red meat. And then she ends up with low cholesterol. And then both of their fertility drops significantly and they can't get pregnant. And I look at the labs and I say, no, your husband really actually never had high cholesterol at all. Please add back in eggs, red meat, and butter, and they conceive within a very short amount of time. It's actually remarkable when you feed the body what it needs to make hormones, what it can do when you want to make a baby. Or just have a period, if that's also what's going on with you. The same thing goes. So if you're down below 160, you do not have enough cholesterol to be making steroid hormones, estrogen, progesterone, and even testosterone. They all need to work together synergistically so that you have a normal menstrual cycle, normal hormonal pattern. So you really want to work to get that way up. I've worked so consistently to keep mine above 200, and as long as my triglycerides stay down and my LDL, then you're looking at the total cholesterol panel, and it's perfect. It's right where you want it. And I have a history of not having a period during chronic illness when I was in college, bumped that cholesterol up, I consistently had a period regularly ever since. And this is the same pattern I see with women all day long. You can still menstruate and be having a period and still have low cholesterol. Some women's bodies will do different things, but it's very easy to have a lipid panel done with your doctor and have someone like myself or another trained holistic healthcare practitioner take a look. All of the info on cholesterol is also all in our preconception, my preconception package with Happy Healthy Littles, outlined to the T, because it's just, I think it's the single most important factor for couples that struggle with infertility.
Yeah, and that link for her course where she really dives into nutrition and rehabilitating one's body before conception, I'll link that down because that course is great and you can just have it for the rest of your life. It's an easy do at your own pace type of thing.
Yeah.
But a lot of really good information in there regarding the type of foods that we actually need for our health. Now, this was something that I really fell in the trap of. This is why it was really hard for me to be fully recovered and be vegan, because no matter how much I was eating, it wasn't a question of calories. I was eating a lot during my vegan phase, besides those like random times where I did a cleanse or decided to go raw vegan for a month. But the rest of the time, I would eat like half a jar of almond butter and like whole loaves of bread. Like I really ate a lot, and I felt like I was constantly eating. Yeah, and I was eating all these things, but I couldn't get a period eating a vegan diet.
Yeah.
It didn't work until, I'm not even kidding, I was dry as sand down there, and you know what I mean. I was so dry, nothing happening, absolutely nothing. And then I left veganism after being vegan for 5 years. I ate eggs, steak, and salmon, and I had bone marrow within the first 3 days of me leaving veganism.
Talk about recovery.
3 days later, I had cervical mucus.
Yep.
3 days.
Yes.
I needed 3 days of eating animal products to start getting my body to rev up its hormones again. And then we zoom, 5, 6 months. No, it was like 5 months later. I got my first period. And that was 5 months of me really focusing on eating a high cholesterol diet.
Yeah.
And now I wasn't sitting there with my like tracker being like, I was eating butter. I was eating eggs. I was eating full fat cream. Eating freely. Lots of the bone marrow I'm just obsessed with.
Yeah.
Sardines, things like that. Like I was getting in these nutrients that I needed, and I was getting enough cholesterol to allow me to finally have a cycle. And I just am, actually I am on right now. I'm on my 8th cycle, guys. My 8th cycle.
Great.
And
it's so great.
Yeah, and now I'm at the point where, I used to think that to recover my period, I was going to have to eat an inordinate amount of food every single day. And while I did go through a time of like me really eating a lot of food portion-wise, I wanted to quickly restore my body. Now it's like I'm finding that it's like I don't need to be gorging myself every day to get the nutrients that I need. I just need to be eating good quality food, and that will give me the amount of nutrients I need. Dani showed me this post. So I want to talk about this.
Yes.
I'm going to put it on the screen right here.
Yeah.
So there's so much of this type of stuff going on Instagram, which drives me insane.
Yeah.
Dani just took a big breath.
Kills me.
But we see all these things where it's like, in this case, what was it? Like
zinc, iron, and one other nutrient were thousands of percentiles or hundreds more in pumpkin seeds than steak.
So what's the issue with this? Because I see this all the time, and as a vegan, I used to say this, like, I don't need protein because I can get all my protein from broccoli. Which I really now know is completely wrong. And broccoli has no cholesterol, and we need the cholesterol along with animal protein. So can you go ahead and just like share with us the misconception that's being sent around?
And this snippet was actually sent to me from a mom that's like, I'm confused, Dani. Can you help me explain this? I'm like, yeah, it's called a lie. It's all over Instagram. Be careful and wary what you look at, watch, and believe. But there are different types of nutrients. There's different details that come with different things like absorption and digestion. So if we are looking at iron, there's 2 different types of iron. There's heme iron, which is bioavailable, meaning your body can reap it, utilize it, digest and absorb it. And then there's non-heme iron, really hard. Still good iron, but much harder. And if you don't have any heme iron, you don't have any MFP. And without MFP, you can barely digest non-heme iron at all. So, and zinc is very similar. It's not bioavailable. There's phytonutrients, anti-nutrients. Can't digest zinc in that form well. So even if you ate such a massive quantity of pumpkin seeds to be getting those numbers of nutrients,
which I find a lot of vegans do. They do tend to overconsume. I would eat.
Stomach.
That was the only. I was telling Dani before. I was like, yeah, that was like the only protein source I had when I was vegan was like nuts. I feel like that was my go-to thing. So I would like be sitting on my bed at the end of the night just eating handfuls and handfuls and handfuls of pistachios or cashews and almonds, and like I couldn't stop eating them. My body wanted the nutrition so badly.
Ravenous.
But again, going to this whole like now I just need to have a good 4-ounce steak with my dinner, and I'm not constantly putting my hand in the nut bag feeling like I need to overconsume it. Now I just take a handful, have a little snack, or put some on top of my salad. Like, the food is good. I mean, we're not demonizing the pumpkin seeds, the almonds, but we're just saying, wow, look, there's actually not a lot of bioavailability in these things, and there's a lot of anti-nutrients, meaning it blocks us from being able to actually absorb any of the nutrients. Explain more. So the non-heme iron is coming from
any plant food.
Any plant food.
Any plant food. Whether it's lentils or
you heard it here,
beans.
people.
Yeah.
Any plant food.
Any plant food is only going to have non-heme iron, and any animal food is going to have heme iron, the bioavailable, the kind that your body reaps. It can utilize, that it wants, that it needs so desperately. And when you start menstruating, ladies, you need to build back up your iron. And when you're pregnant, your iron's going to tank like crazy, not to mention also when you're postpartum. So iron is critical for women on so many levels, especially when it comes to hormone production and your perinatal years entering into baby making.
Yeah, so we have to be really careful when we see all these things online saying like there's enough protein in the broccoli or in the almonds compared to steak. It's just, we're looking at the bioavailability to the body. Yeah. We are not digesting that the same way. It is not going to have the same effect. We really have to make sure that we are eating a good source of this iron, because it is super, super important. So many people use like Chronometer and stuff, and I can just imagine them like going and typing in like, I ate, cup of almonds today, and I can imagine them seeing like, oh great, wow, I got all my iron. But you're saying just because there is say
iron.
9 grams of iron or whatever in the almonds doesn't mean
it's absorbable and that you utilized it all. And the other thing that's lacking altogether is cholesterol in plant food. It's not in plant food. Not in any plant food in any way, shape, or form. So Chloe was eating a lot of fat and a lot of protein in nut butter. Awesome. But zero cholesterol in those fats. We need to be consuming fats that have cholesterol, like butter and egg yolk and ghee, of course.
No more egg white. No more egg whites.
Oh, you miss out on the iron and the cholesterol, ladies, if you just get the egg white. You need the yolk more than the white times 100.
Yeah.
And it doesn't taste good. It's not rich, and it leaves you wanting more, honestly.
Yeah, no, honestly, stop taking the eggs apart and separating it. Yeah. It comes together, use it together, or if you do separate it, I make hollandaise sauce and I use the egg yolk. It's way better. But so this is something that I used to always hear, and I'd love to hear what you have to say about this. I feel like a lot of the vegan argument is, but your body can make cholesterol. Your liver makes cholesterol. Well, I think this is really important because, again, this is the type of stuff that we see online. Yeah, totally. And I get it, guys. I'm your same age. I mean, maybe. It depends on who. But I'm living in this world at the same time as you guys. And I see all these things online. I once used to believe and say all these things. Yeah. So I know how easy it is to get this sort of misconstrued messages. Yes. So I'm really curious to hear what you have to say about this.
So if the statement is that your body makes all the cholesterol that it needs is true, it's only going to make cholesterol for your survival. It is not going to make enough cholesterol for you to have optimal health. Ladies, you will survive even if you struggle with depression, suicide, anxiety, OCD, schizophrenia, all day long. You will survive, but you obviously are not thriving and you are not living at your full potential or at optimal health. So your body and your liver would enjoy a little cholesterol to come in from your diet, and that's how you're going to get your levels at optimal. That's why when I'm looking at labs, we're not looking at, a 2 or 5. I mean, the lowest I've ever seen on cholesterol was 82, and horrible. Yeah, just wow on the mental health
But it
issues.
was 82 because the body was producing that.
For survival. Again, not optimal health.
Probably puts a lot of strain on your body to have to make that instead
strain.
of just
everything
giving it
suffers.
to your body.
Everything suffers.
Yeah.
Your hormone production, your estrogen, your progesterone. That's why you stop menstruating very easily, or you menstruate but you're not ovulate, which deceives you about your fertility and about your hormonal health. And then your brain suffers on every level because you're not making serotonin, norepinephrine, epinephrine, GABA. They're all dropping, and you feel
cholesterol,
that.
explain that a little bit more for those who don't know. What's cholesterol's role in all of these neurotransmitters?
It is a precursor, meaning cholesterol directly goes on, and it's part of some other cofactors to making hormones, estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. There's others, DHEA, all of that. And then also neurotransmitters in your brain, some of which I mentioned: serotonin, which is your happy hormone, GABA, which is your calming hormone. There's some excitatory ones, but we definitely need a balance of all of them.
So if I'm taking a GABA supplement, if I'm taking an vegan DHEA, EPA supplement, is that even really doing anything if I'm consuming a zero cholesterol diet?
Not really.
I mean, if it's the precursor, yeah, that's what I.
You can get a DHEA or a DHA, two different nutrients there, and you don't really want to supplement. Anyways, on your hormones, you need to make hormones, right? You don't want. I mean, bioidentical hormones is a totally different conversation, but just give your body what it needs to do what it was meant to do, and like we're saying, it will do it. And it's not that hard. You got to get over the mental block, and that's why Chloe is like your savior.
Well, and it was really like, I'm a testament to just like how much the body does just get back to it. Like that's what was so every single month. It's so absolutely crazy, amazing to me that I'm like, it happened again. I got this again. Like what? It's just so crazy how all I needed to do was just switch up the type of fuel I was giving my body, and my body was able to do this. So I had told myself, actually, I told myself out in August when I left veganism, I was like, if I don't get my period until 2020, like, so I'm giving myself this 5 months, like, I'm going to go to the doctor. And I was thinking at that point, I was like, you know, this has been 11 years. If it's not, you know, I'm going to do this whole all-in thing. I'm going to really eat. I'm going to stop being vegan. If it doesn't work, then I'm going to look at bioidentical, even though I have so much reservations about that. I was like, I'm going to start looking into things to sort of help my body sort of jumpstart, which a lot of the times it's not a jumpstart. People go on the pill to think I'm going to jumpstart my cycle. You're not doing any jump starting. You're literally just making yourself bleed, but there's no ovulation, there's no follicle growing, there's nothing happening, so you don't get any of the protective stuff of just having a period. Anyways, but I was at the point where I was like, I'm going to have to do something. And then December 31st of 2019, I got my period.
Oh my gosh.
So I didn't have to go that route, but I really made that a priority to like eat 4 eggs every single day. And I put myself on this fertility diet, liver, organ meats, the bone marrow, the sardines, the herring. I love pickled herring. Lots of ghee. Lots of that stuff. And I took a step back from a lot of the nuts and the seeds and the almond butters and those type of things. And I gave my body the actual nutrients that it needed. And now I don't have to spend a lot of money or take a lot of risk with going through bioidentical hormones, which I'm super excited about because I was not looking forward to that.
They can mess with you neurologically also. Lots of experience with women on those.
Yeah, and you might even know this, Dani, because I follow a lot of, sort of dietitians and people like that who are dealing with women's health, and a lot of them are anti the pill and all of that. Of course, I wouldn't be following people who are like, let's take the pill. But a lot of people have been saying that the pill actually can cause, and I'm talking about birth control here, can cause a lot of nutrient deficiencies.
Oh, I have an entire section on it devoted to this topic in my package.
Okay, great.
This is
what's crazy, because I can't tell you how many clients I've had who have said, I went to my gynecologist, she said, just maybe gain 2 or 3 pounds, but we're going to put you on the pill, and then when you want to get pregnant, we'll go through IVF. But I'm like, here you are taking someone who's dealt with a restrictive eating disorder,
Yeah.
who's already very depleted, and you're telling them to go on the pill, which is going to deplete them even more.
Yes, exactly. And they'll have to do IVF.
It is absolutely just, it's insane, the stuff that I've heard gynecologists say to my clients, where I'm like, no, like they'll tell them that they cannot get their period back. Like, this is it. You're just gonna have to deal with this. You don't have your period. There's nothing we can do about it. There is something you can do about it.
We're both a testament.
Yeah, we're both a testament. Dani has worked with hundreds, thousands.
That's like seriously probably one of the biggest, most common issues.
Yeah.
At any point, because it happens again postpartum again. If you don't give yourself the nutrition, you're also not going to get your period back in between babies, and then conceiving again. So no, it's just one of the most common things I've been dealing with for almost 8 years now in my practice, and I don't know that I could name anyone that never got their period back.
And that's what's really cool. And if you look at Dr. Nicola Rinaldi's work, she's one of the top experts in amenorrhea recovery, and her rates were pretty much 100% success rate too with getting your period back, unless there's a physical abnormality, which please go get checked by your doctor. I remember I got ultrasounds to make sure that everything was okay, and as long as there's not that, then you can get your cycle back. I've even had 37-year-olds get their cycle back after like 20 years of not having their period. So it's pretty cool, but it's going to require these foods. So wrapping it up here so that this video is not too long, what are your sort of final thoughts on cholesterol?
Ladies, do not fear it. Love it. Consume it regularly. Your highest and your best sources are going to be egg yolk. Eat it with the white, though. We like it all together like a whole food. Any red meat. So it could be lamb, it could be bison, it could be buffalo, it could be dark ground turkey meat, and then butter and ghee. Grass-fed butter and ghee. We could also venture into other animal fats like tallow and suet, but, they're a little more odd. We could also venture into liver, but you might be like, not yet.
I always get my clients on pate.
Love it.
Because I'm like, liver, I understand. This is a big step here. But go get yourself a nice pate, eat it with some little French cornichon pickles and a nice baguette. And I have not had a client say that they wouldn't buy it again.
Love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Remember, cholesterol makes hormones and neurotransmitters. You want both. Without them, your mental, emotional, and your physical health will suffer.
Yeah, so super important. I have just one more thing to ask you, Dani, and I'm wondering if you would respond to this, because I already know what you guys are thinking. Oh shit, that's all the food that's going to make me gain weight. So what is your response? What is your response to this?
The body doesn't hold fat when it's getting fat. When the body isn't getting fat, it thinks there's a famine, because for all of time we've consumed fat at such high levels so consistently. So fat actually fuels your metabolism, and removing fat from your diet actually shunts your metabolism. Obviously, when you cut your calories so low anyways,
your metabolism,
you're gonna, but I work with women and they don't gain weight, or I wouldn't still have a successful practice. They would all hate me. I mean, you know what I mean? And we both eat like this, ladies, all day long. I have a tub of ghee. She buys it like this at Costco. I mean, we eat like this. And you're full and you're satisfied. And when your hormones are well, honestly, you don't have those crazy cravings or ravenous nights where you're eating
half a jar of almond butter. And a whole bar of chocolate. Yeah. Also, with that said, I want to quickly have a little conversation here about that. If you are underweight, that weight gain that you would eat from eating these products is super beneficial, because as women we should have more weight on us,
and
because
a little healthy fat.
A little healthy fat is really good for us. So, I gained weight eating this way, and then I stopped. There was a set point. My body finally got to this place, and it was like, okay, and now you're healthy. Now you have enough stores. Now we're going to stop gaining weight, and now we're just going to flourish at this natural healthy weight. So for those of you who are fearing the weight gain from this, it's like, okay, if you start to gain weight, that is because you needed to gain weight, and that's okay. And that's also a part of the healing process, especially when it comes to amenorrhea or healing from a restrictive eating disorder. The weight gain is going to be there. I have a video about my 8 top benefits of gaining weight. There are a lot of benefits to putting healthy weight on your body. healthy weight, which is why we're talking about
Yes.
eating the organic grass-fed,
Yes.
you know, butter and the eggs and all these things. We're not saying go and
Yeah.
have buckets of donuts all day and a bunch of trans fats. Like, that's going to be what screws up your metabolism and with your hormonal levels, and that's going to give you a lot of other issues. What we're saying is feed your body what it needs.
Yes.
Let it be at the weight that it needs
Yes.
to be, which may be more than you are now, and which may be more than what society's sort of notion of a healthy body is. Because I see a lot of these girls on these like magazines. I'm like, that's not what a woman's body should look like if it's functioning optimally.
Right.
Some women they can work at very low body fat, but I think this whole thing, and I tried to mention it because I know this is going to be what comes up, but this whole thing really comes from reconstructing our ideas around what healthy is.
Yes.
You want to be able to move your body, be athletic, be fit, you know, have muscle tone, be at a healthy weight range. But like, I know for me, that does not mean being at 110 pounds. That was really, really unhealthy for me. I am at a way larger weight, but I am healthy and I am strong and everything's in balance, and I have a little pudge, but I need that to have those proper hormones.
We always had it for all of time, ladies. For all of time, women didn't look like they do now. Or we would have thought they were really sick, and all the women would have come around them, shoved pate down their throat till they weren't anymore. Yeah. But I also, and I know that Chloe can speak immensely to this, when your brain neurotransmitters and your hormones are low, you look at yourself in the mirror and you think you look terrible when you're skinny because you're having anxiety and you're just so distorted in your mind. And when you eat these foods and your neurotransmitter levels go up and your hormones go up, you look at your body and you're like Chloe and you're like, phenomenal. I've never been hotter than I am now. I mean, really, there's a switch.
Guys.
There's
it's
a
such
switch.
a crazy switch, and it's crazy that you're saying that because I had such a bad body image when I was even 80 pounds and I thought I needed to lose weight. And it's like, I always just would nitpick my body. And then here I am 50 pounds heavier and I'm like, I'm in love with everything. And my weight doesn't bother me in the way that it did before. It's not even a thing at all. I'm literally just like, I am happy. I am healthy. I don't find that I'm like, oh my gosh, the fat on my arms. Like, okay, I don't care. I have arms. Like, it's fine. So it is crazy how much your neurotransmitters completely change. Yes. It is that flip where all of a sudden it's like, oh, now I have a really well-nourished mind to go along with my nourished body. Yes. So you look at me, you might look at me and be like, oh no, she's way too big. I wouldn't want to do that. But trust me, once you once you actually nutritionally rehabilitate your body and you get yourself to this healthy state, something will click and you'll finally be able to start seeing things for what it is. Yes.
And you will feel happier and freer and more joyful and not anxious or OCD or having your mind consumed by things that just honestly don't really matter that much in life.
The OCD, you just saw my room. It used to be, in my room, I really believe in the cleanliness, really do. But
likewise,
used to, like, I could not leave my house if even a fork was in the sink. Like, my OCD was so strong that me having some dishes in some places and maybe my bed's not perfectly made is, like, such a huge testament to how much my brain just doesn't care about that stuff anymore. Yeah. Like, yes, I want to have a cleanly living space, but it's not like I'm not sitting here anxious about the state of my kitchen right now as I just came home from the market and unloaded all of my stuff there.
Because cleanliness and OCD are two totally different things.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing. And eating healthy and orthorexia, two very different things. You can want to eat healthy, choose good foods. It's way different than being obsessed, preoccupied, and anxious about it. Yeah, that's something I talk about in my orthorexia videos because it's a different mindset shift, and you have to be eating those good, healthy foods in order to help you get to that healthy mindset. Because, our brain health is so connected. So I think that's all for our talk on cholesterol today. I hope you guys got a lot of good stuff out of that. Anything else you want to mention? That's it. I think
love your cholesterol, ladies. It loves you.
Great, guys. All the information for Dani and her course in regards to perinatal nutrition will be down below. Please like this video. Please subscribe. Hit the bell button to get notified when a new video comes out. And also, please share this with anyone who you know could use this information, because we are all in this world where we're being told that cholesterol is super bad for us. And it's really time that we start standing up and being like, hey, this is actually good for me and
Yeah.
I can eat my butter.
And ladies, listen to ladies. And so if you have friends that you are, just concerned maybe with the way their body's looking, the way that they're acting about food, just share this. I mean, we're both just coming with so much love and so much passion and just so much just fervor, even help women with their health all around, mentally, emotionally, physically. So you can find me, Dani Rhoades, at Happy Healthy Littles, and you can check out everything, like Chloe said, on the links below for our packages.
Great, guys. We'll see you in the comment section. Have a good one.